Making the headlines tonight. Prime Minister Hun Sen has announced that the outdoor mask mandate has been lifted through the country from today, Tuesday, the 26th of April. The National Commission for COVID-19 Vaccination of the Ministry of Health have released a statement urging citizens to get their third dose of vaccine following the Prime Minister's recommendation. Twitter is set to agree to sell Elon Musk for around $43 billion of his hard-earned cash. Ukrainian soccer player Alan Alessi said he was excited to help the war-torn country through the charity match of Borussia Dortmund, where he's currently playing as a guest player. And one of Dorothy's dresses from the classic film The Wizard of Oz has been located and will be sold in auction for about $1.2 million. This is the Daily Roundup on EAC News Channel. A very good evening to you. I'm Anthony Ellis. The Prime Minister Hun Sen has announced that the outdoor mask mandate has been lifted throughout the country from today, Tuesday the 26th of April, leaving members of the public to decide whether to wear masks or not by themselves. EAC News reporter Dashan Guchin has the story.
In a special audio message released on Tuesday, 26 April 2022, the Prime Minister informed all members of the public across the country that after the Minister of Economy and the Minister of Health held a meeting on whether it was feasible to lift the mask mandate in Cambodia, the government has concluded that it is safe to stop wearing masks in outdoor public places. However, everyone must still wear masks in closed indoor places such as buildings, cinemas, and meeting halls. The Prime Minister said that this is to help reduce the extra costs of having to buy masks, which is a huge extra expense for many. At the same time, he encourages people to continue monitoring their own health and to do rapid tests when in doubt. He further ordered the Ministry of Health and other relevant institutions to continue monitoring the situation and be ready to respond quickly after the mask mandate is lifted.
ខ្ញុំប្រកាសណាខ្ញុំសង្ឃឹមថាការដកម៉ាស់ចេញនឹងបង្កើតបរិយាកាសសប្បាយរីករាយសម្រាប់បងប្អូនប្រជាពលរដ្ឋរបស់យើងហើយក៏ទាំងចូលរួមចំណែកទៅលើការសន្សំសំចៃក្នុងការប្រើប្រាស់ដោយផ្ទេរការចំណាយពីការប្រើប្រាស់ទិញម៉ាស់មកពាក់បង្វែរទៅជាការទិញម្ហូបអាហារទិញសម្លៀកបំពាក់ឲ្យកូនចៅនិងទុកសន្សំប្រាក់កាសនោះដើម្បីប្រើប្រាស់ទៅលើគោលដៅផ្សេង
One day prior, during the handover ceremony of over 1 million vaccines sent by Italy on Monday, 25th April 2022, Prime Minister Hun Sen had stated his intention to lift the outdoor mask mandate to aid people's livelihoods and reduce spending on masks. During this time, he also announced the national third dose vaccination campaign. Prime Minister Hun Sen has said that in order to promote the effective removal of mask wearing in outdoor places, all citizens are urged to get at least their third dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. Darshana Gochan, EAC News, Phnom Penh.
On the morning of Tuesday, the 26th of April, Prime Minister Hun Sen announced that the outdoor mask mandate has been lifted across Cambodia, meaning that the decision to wear a mask in public outdoor settings is now up to an individual's own choice. EAC News sent out a team to interview some people on the streets of Phnom Penh to see how they were feeling about these news. Many have expressed their happiness over the removal of the mask mandate, saying that they're feeling relieved because this is a help to reduce the mass cost of buying masks and also reduce the worries about accidentally violating health measures when not wearing a mask outside. EAC News reporter Deccan Nin will tell you more about it.
People are happy that the government has lifted the outdoor mask mandate, but some say that wearing masks has become their habit. On Tuesday, 26th April, Prime Minister Hun Sen announced through a special voice message that mask wearing in outdoor public spaces will no longer be mandatory, so citizens could choose themselves whether they prefer to wear a mask or not while outdoors. This decision came after the Minister of Economy and the Minister of Health held a meeting on Monday, 25th of April, to deliberate whether it was feasible and safe to lift the mask mandate.
ខ្ញុំប្រកាសណាខ្ញុំសង្ឃឹមថាការដកម៉ាស់ចេញនឹងបង្កើតបរិយាកាសសប្បាយរីករាយសម្រាប់បងប្អូនប្រជាពលរដ្ឋរបស់យើងហើយក៏ទាំងចូលរួមចំណែកទៅលើការសន្សំសំចៃក្នុងការប្រើប្រាស់ដោយផ្ទេរការចំណាយពីការប្រើប្រាស់ទិញម៉ាស់មកពាក់ បង្វែរទៅជាការទិញម្ហូបអាហារទិញសម្លៀកបំពាក់ឲ្យកូនចៅនិងទុកសន្សំប្រាក់កាសនោះដើម្បីប្រើប្រាស់ទៅលើគោលដៅផ្សេង
After this announcement was made, many people living in Phnom Penh have expressed their happiness and relief because it is easier to breathe without a mask. The cost of buying masks will be reduced, and because people will no longer have to worry about being accused of violating health measures when not wearing masks outdoor.
When I heard the news, I was happy because it means I do not have to spend as much money buying masks every day. Every month, I'm also reduced because when I wear a mask, it is hard to breathe because I have a nose problem.
I think it is a good thing because work related to tourists will increase. We'll go out for a lot because they know that they do not have to wear a mask outside anymore. So there are less problems, reduce costs, and we'll also be less afraid about going anywhere they want.
We're really happy because now it seems we have freedom to hang out with each other. And we can go out a lot since people are more resistant to the disease, which is really good. I'm happy. We had to buy masks a lot and spend a lot of money. Also because masks cannot be washed and reused, so we have to change masks often every day. And because there are many members in our house, it costs a lot. If we no longer have to wear masks, then we can reduce a lot.
In the midst of this happy atmosphere, there are, however, some people who say that mask wearing has now become a part of their daily habits.
We protect our health with masks because we do not know who is infected with COVID-19, so I always wear masks to be protected. And sellers like me, when people from a distance see us not wearing masks, they do not dare to buy from us. We have to buy a lot of masks. It cannot be counted because in one day I have to change 2 to 3 times regularly. Also, my children, grandchildren, son-in-law, they are still using masks every day, even though everyone has been vaccinated 4 times. We still use masks regularly.
Most of the people that EAC News team interviewed seem unconcerned about the recurrence of COVID-19, believing in the government measures in place and trusting the level of local herd immunity achieved, which they see as being further strengthened by the administration of booster vaccine doses.
Concerns about re-emergence of the COVID-19 are there, but I have already received 4 doses of vaccine and I have had no problems at all. I just come from abroad, I travel a lot and faced no problems. There is no infection, nothing. I trust the vaccine.
I think it is okay, it's normal now because all of us have been vaccinated.
While the royal government has lifted the outdoor mask mandate, Prime Minister Hun Sen still urges all to wear masks while in crowded public areas in order to reduce the risk of transmission.
ខ្ញុំប្រកាសណាខ្ញុំសូមចូលរួមអបអរសាទរជាមួយប្រជាពលរដ្ឋដែលថ្ងៃនេះនឹងបានរំដោះខ្លួនចេញពីម៉ាស់ក៏ប៉ុន្តែក៏នៅតែអំពាវនាវឲ្យរក្សាទុកម៉ាស់ជាប់នឹងខ្លួននៅពេលដែលចូលដល់កន្លែងដែលត្រូវចាំបាច់ពាក់ម៉ាស់ដោយបានកំណត់ដែលក្រសួងសុខាភិបាលនិងផ្នែកពាក់ព័ន្ធនឹងរៀបចំវិធានការបញ្ជាក់ទៅតាមក្រោយថាកន្លែងណាដែលពាក់និងកន្លែងណាដែលមិនពាក់
After the 28th November outbreak in 2020, Prime Minister Hun Sen released a video from his house on the 15th of December 2020 with a special statement introducing the implementation of the 3 do's and 3 don'ts health measures, which included mask wearing as a priority. Since then, people in Cambodia diligently wore masks for more than a year. Finally, today, Tuesday, 26th of April 2022, the outdoor mask mandate has been lifted. Dekanin, EAC News.
The National Commission of COVID-19 Vaccination of the Ministry of Health and released a statement urging citizens to get at least the 3rd dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. Following the Prime Minister's highest recommendations during his speech at the handover ceremony over the 1 million AstraZeneca vaccines delivered by Italy on Monday. EAC News reporter Srapor Kong has further details.
The National Commission for COVID-19 Vaccination issued a statement on Monday, 25 April, encouraging citizens to get their 3rd dose or booster dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. The statement includes that the National Commission is currently continuing to provide 3rd or 4th dose of COVID-19 booster shot to those aged 5 and above at National Hospital, Referral Hospital, Health Center, and COVID-19 Vaccination Center organized in cooperation with hospital and the 25 capital provincial administrations. The National Commission underlined that the number of people who have received their third or fourth booster dose of the vaccine within the 5 years and above age group is still limited. So the Commission further reminded and urged all eligible members of the public to go and get the booster shot in a timely manner at the aforementioned locations, which will be open every day, including weekend and holidays. The statement confirmed that all eligible will be able to get a booster dose simply by showing their COVID-19 vaccination card. The National Third Dose Vaccination Campaign was officially announced by Prime Minister Hun Sen on the morning of Monday, 25 April. During the handover ceremony of over 1 million AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccines delivered by the government and people of Italy. As of Tuesday, 26 April, the outdoor mask mandate has also been lifted in Cambodia, meaning that members of the public can now choose whether to wear masks or not in outdoor public areas at their own volition. The Prime Minister has emphasized that with mask wearing no longer being mandatory, it is even more important that all citizens get their booster doses of the COVID-19 vaccine to build local herd immunity and ensure community protection. Sri Pokong, EAC News.
The Minister of Public Works and Transport Senior Minister Sun Chantal has said that the construction of the Phnom Penh-Sihanoukville Expressway is 90.95% complete and the expressway will be ready for trial use in July 2022. He added that it will be officially inaugurated in a future appropriate time under the presidency of the Prime Minister Hun Sen. EAC News reporter Darshana Guchin has more.
Senior Minister Sun Chantal added that this new expressway will contribute to the growth of both Phnom Penh and Sihanoukville as economic poles by making travel between the two cities faster than usual, reducing costs and travel time, and also the number of traffic accidents occurring on National Road Number 4. He further added that the royal government is currently studying the master plan to make Sihanoukville a multi-purpose special economic zone, and this expressway will help to serve this master plan by attracting more national and international investors. The Phnom Penh-Sihanoukville Expressway is 187.05 kilometers long and began construction on 22 March 2019. As of Tuesday, 26 April 2022, the expressway is undergoing the last stages of completion and construction is scheduled to officially end on 31 May 2023. This new road connects Village 1 Samraung Kram Commune, Por Senche District in Phnom Penh to Village 1 District 3 in Sihanoukville. The expressway is built by PPSHV Expressway Co. Limited and a subsidiary of China Road Bridge Corporation, with technical inspection done by Min Consult SDN BHD. The total construction time is 48 months with a total cost of over $2 billion. The expressway will have 4 lanes with a total width of 24.5 meters, 7 intersections, 3 rest areas, 1 parking lot, 4 operation and maintenance centers, 40 main and medium bridges, and 5 small bridges, which all pass through about 8 kilometers of Phnom Penh and the 4 provinces of Kandal, Kampong Spu, Kokong, and Pria Sihanouk. The Phnom Penh-Sihanoukville Expressway project is the first expressway project in Cambodia, making it the most important strategic corridor project in the kingdom. The expressway will greatly reduce the travel time from Phnom Penh to Sihanoukville Port from 5 hours to just 2 hours, which will help to also reduce logistical costs. Darshana Gochan, EAC News.
Cambodia has reported 2 new COVID-19 cases, neither of which were imported. There have been 23 patient recoveries and no new deaths. The kingdom has now recorded 15,789 cases of Omicron, 1,362 imported, and 14,427 community cases. Cambodia's COVID-19 case tally is now climbed up to 136,230, and the death toll stands at 3,056. The number of patients treated successfully since the pandemic reached Cambodia is 132,968, and the tally for imported cases remains at 21,219. Healthcare workers are currently treated a total of 129 patients. Now for a look at the news making international headlines this Tuesday, the 26th of April.
Dragon SpaceX ComCheck.
The first all-private astronaut team ever flown aboard the International Space Station safely splashed down in the Atlantic off Florida's coast on Monday, April 25th, completing a 2-week science mission held as a milestone in commercial spaceflight. The SpaceX crew capsule carrying the 4-man team, led by a retired NASA astronaut who is now vice president of the Texas company behind the mission, Axiom Space, parachuted into the sea after a 16-hour descent from orbit. The splashdown, carried live by a joint Axiom SpaceX webcast, was originally planned for last Wednesday, but the return flight was delayed due to unfavorable weather. The return from orbit followed a plunge through Earth's atmosphere, generating frictional heat that sends temperatures surrounding the outside of the capsule soaring to 3,500 degrees Fahrenheit or 1,927 degrees Celsius. The astronauts' flight suits are designed to keep them cool as the cabin heats up. Applause was heard from the SpaceX Flight Control Center in suburban Los Angeles as parachutes billowed open above the capsule in the final stage of its descent, slowing its fall to about 15 miles per hour or 24 kilometers per hour, and again as the craft hit the water off the coast of Jacksonville. A small recovery boat with a 3-member team reached the Crew Dragon minutes later to secure the visibly heat-scorched craft as it bobbed upright in the ocean. The capsule was hoisted from the sea onto the deck of a larger recovery vessel about 40 minutes later, and the hatch was opened to let the astronauts emerge. Air camera shot from inside the capsule showed the 4 crew members strapped into their seats, garbed in their helmeted white and black spacesuits. The mission's crew was assembled, equipped, and trained entirely at private expense by Axiom, a 5-year-old venture based in Houston and headed by NASA's former ISS program manager. The U.S. Space Agency furnished the launch site at its Kennedy Space Center in Cape Canaveral, Florida, and assumed responsibility for the Axiom crew while they were aboard the space station. NASA's ISS crew members also pitched in to assist the private astronauts when needed. The multinational Axiom team was led by Spanish-born retired NASA astronaut Michael Lopez Alegria, 63, the company's vice president for business development. His second-in-command was Larry Connor, 22, a technology entrepreneur and aerobatics aviator from Ohio, designated the mission pilot. Joining them as mission specialists were investor philanthropist and former Israeli fighter pilot Eston Stebe, 64, and the Canadian businessman and philanthropist Mark Pathy, 52. Connor, Stebe, and Pathy flew as customers of Axiom, which charges $50 million to $60 million per seat for such flights. Launched on April 8th, they spent 15 days aboard the space station with the 7 regular government-paid ISS crew members, 3 American astronauts, a German astronaut, and 3 Russian cosmonauts. SpaceX, the private launch service founded by Tesla electric car maker CEO Elon Musk, supplied the Falcon 9 rocket and Crew Dragon capsule that carried Axiom's team to and from orbit, controlled the flight, and handled the splashdown recovery. SpaceX has been hired to fly 3 more Axiom astronaut missions to ISS over the next 2 years.
Russian President Vladimir Putin on Monday the 25th of April accused the West of trying to murder Russian journalists and said that the Federal Security Service had thwarted one such attempt on a television reporter. This morning, the Federal Security Service stopped activities of a terrorist group that planned to attack and kill one of the famous Russian TV journalists, Putin told prosecutors. They have moved to Terra to preparing to murder our journalist, Putin said. He did not immediately provide evidence to support his claims. Reuters was unable to immediately verify the claims. The Interfax news agency said that members of the nationalist group had been detained by Russian authorities. Interfax said that the group, acting on orders of the Ukrainian spies, was plotting to kill Russian journalist Vladimir Solovyev. Putin said that the West was trying to destroy Russia from the inside, but that such attempts would fail. He said the US Central Intelligence Agency was directing attempts to undermine Russian and advising the Ukraine government. Putin also said foreign media organizations and social media had been used by the West to conflict provocations against Russian armed forces. Such actions, he said, should be stopped.
Firefighters battle blast in a multi-story residential building after a Russian attack on Ukraine's eastern city of Kharkiv on Monday, 25 April. Emergency worker broke into one of the burning apartments as local residents watched on. At least 2 apartments were severely damaged. Complete bastard. You can't even imagine, it is horrific, said one eyewitness, Alexander. Ukraine's general staff said Russia was shelling Kharkiv, its second biggest city. Shelling by the Russian army has intensified in recent weeks. Moscow, which described its action in Ukraine as a special military operation, denies targeting civilians.
Twitter is set to agree on a sale to Elon Musk for around $43 billion in cash. The price is the chief executive of Tesla has called it the best final offer of the social media company. People familiar with the matter said.
Human rights group on Monday raised concerns about hate speech on Twitter and the power that its takeover by Elon Musk must give the billionaire after the self-described free speech absolutist clinched a deal to take the social media platform private. Musk, who is also chief executive of electric car maker Tesla, has described himself as a free speech absolutist who has been critical of Twitter's policies of moderating content on the platform. He has said Twitter needs to become a genuine forum for free speech. In a statement after securing the deal on Monday, Musk described free speech as the bedrock of a functioning democracy. Twitter is not just another company, human rights advocates noted. Regardless of who owns Twitter, the company has human rights responsibility to respect the rights of people around the world who rely on the platform. Changes to its policies, features, and algorithms, big and small, can have disproportionate and sometimes devastating impacts, including offline violence. Deborah Brown, a digital rights researcher and advocate at Human Rights Watch. Freedom of expression is not an absolute right, which is why Twitter needs to invest in efforts to keep its most vulnerable users safe on the platform, she added. Twitter did not immediately respond to a request for comment on concerns raised by the groups. While Elon Musk is an ACLU card-carrying member and one of our most significant supporters, there's a lot of danger having so much power in the hands of any one individual. Anthony Romero, executive director at the American Civil Liberties Union, told Reuters after the deal was announced. Amnesty International said it was concerned about any potential decision that Twitter may take after Musk take over to erode enforcement of the policies and mechanisms designed to moderate hate speech online. The last thing we need is a Twitter that willfully turns a blind eye to violent and abusive speech against users, particularly those most disproportionately impacted, including women, non-binary persons, and others, Michael Kleinman, Director of Technology and Human Rights at Amnesty International USA, said on Monday.
A senior Russian diplomat said on Monday the 25th of April there was no point in having a ceasefire in Ukraine at this stage because Kyiv would likely use it as an opportunity to discredit Russia after Kyiv denied reaching an agreement with Moscow over the humanitarian corridor.
Dmitry Polyansky, Russia's first deputy permanent representative to the United Nations, said Ukraine is compromising our efforts to open these corridors, so we don't think a ceasefire is a good option right now. Ukraine earlier denied reaching a deal with Russia on evacuating civilians from a steel plant in the southern city of Mariupol and said the United Nations should be the initiator and guarantor of any such deal. Polyansky said a ceasefire would only be an opportunity for Ukrainian forces to regroup and stage more provocations. He said Russia had not struck any residential areas in Ukraine's Black Sea port city of Odessa. Ukraine's Southern Air Command on Saturday said that 2 missiles struck a military facility and 2 residential buildings in Odessa. Russia had said earlier on Monday that it would open a humanitarian corridor for civilians to leave Mariupol's huge Azovstal steel plant, where they are holed up with Ukrainian fighters and are under Russian fire.
Is it time for a ceasefire?
Sorry?
Is it time for a ceasefire?
I don't think so.
If the Secretary General asks for a ceasefire, will Russia comply?
I think he asked for Easter ceasefire, and Easter is over right now.
So you didn't comply with his call for an Easter truce.
What?
If he asks for a ceasefire when he goes to Moscow, will Russia comply and end its war?
We are not supposed to comply with the calls. People comply with the orders, but not with the calls. So there was a call for ceasefire, and we opened humanitarian corridors which are not being used by Ukraine, and Ukraine is also compromising our efforts to open these corridors. So we don't think that ceasefire is a good option right now, because the only advantage it will give possibility for Ukrainian forces to regroup and to stage more provocations like Bucha, like I called to you. So frankly, it's not up to me to decide, but I don't see any reasons in this right now. Everyone who wants to get evacuated, for example, from Mariupol, has the opportunity to do so because we opened humanitarian corridors. Today it was also opened. They claim that there are some civilians in this Azovstal, but they do not let them go. I don't see any logic in this.
Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador on Monday the 25th of April urged Latinos in the United States not to vote in November's midterm elections for politicians who have mistreated them, in response to a comment by former US President Donald Trump.
Trump boasted at a rally in Ohio at the weekend that while in office, he had forced López Obrador to deploy 28,000 soldiers along the U.S.-Mexico border to keep out migrants after threatening to slap tariff on Mexican goods. Asked about Trump comments, López Obrador said no U.S. political party should use Mexico as a piñata, and that those with the right to vote should exercise it carefully. He told Americans of Mexican and Latino descent that if Mexico or some country in Latin America and the Caribbean is mistreated, do not vote for those parties and for those candidates whether they are from the Democratic or Republican Party. When someone goes too far and cause offense, we call them out so that our countrymen help us. Because there are 40 million of us, López Obrador told a new conference, don't forget your origins. At 36.6 million, Mexicans made up the largest population of Hispanic origin in the United States in 2017, a Pew Research Center report found ahead of the last presidential election. Trump sparked outrage en route to winning the presidency in 2016 by calling Mexican migrant rapists and drug runners. López Obrador, then in opposition, 2017 linked Trump's attitude to migrants to Nazi Germany treatment of Jews. As President López Obrador spoke warmly of the American president and said Monday he linked Trump even though he is a capitalist and that his presidency was good for both countries. Foreign Minister Marcelo Ebrard, one of the favorites to succeed López Obrador in 2024, rebutted Trump's comment. What happened yesterday is a man campaigning for an anti-Mexicanism that characterized him, Ebrard wrote on Twitter in reference to Trump's remarks. In this government, we're patriots, and we have nothing to be ashamed about. Republicans are favored to win control of the House of Representatives and possibility the Senate in the election amid frustration with the administration of U.S. President Joe Biden.
After the break, a look at all the latest sports news.
If it's happening and you need to know about it, you'll get it all right here. EAC News brings you updates and breaking news in English across all of our platforms and channels. The EAC News app, YouTube, Facebook, Telegram, Twitter, and our website www.eacnews.asia. Join me and the rest of the EAC News team every day on your favorite channels. EAC News, Cambodia made clear.
A pair of death-defying pilots only partially succeeded in their attempt to complete the first ever mid-air plane swap in Phoenix, Arizona.
And rotating. Give a shout out to Buckeye for cylinder. Without the mags, give a shout.
Cousins Luke Aiken and Daddy Farrington each piloted a small Cessna 182 to an altitude of 14,000 feet, put their planes into a controlled nosedive and jumped out. Aiken successfully swapped planes, but Farrington was unable to enter the plane he was approaching. He skydived into a safe landing. The second plane's safety mechanism were then activated, but the plane was damaged. Neither of the pilots nor anybody else was injured.
Hey man, that's why we're here where we are. Yep. Everybody's safe. Parachute system worked just like it was supposed to. Andy's fine. Yeah, he said he's like I could hear him talking to me in free fall. Yeah. I mean, we proved that it was possible. I mean, we're pushing boundaries out here. And what's great is I jumped from one, I got in the other one, we landed, I landed safely. Andy landed safely under a parachute. The plane landed under a parachute. All of our safety protocols worked.
Yeah, I mean, we were there, all the numbers matched up and everything like that. Everything should have been good to go. For some reason, it wasn't that way, but at the end of the day, we're both here, we're both good to go, everybody's safe and sound, and I guess that's the important part.
Ukrainian Youth League soccer player Alan Ozzy on Monday, April the 26th, said he was excited to help his war-torn country through a charity match with Borussia Dortmund, where they currently play as a guest player. On Tuesday, 26th of April, Borussia Dortmund and Dynamo Kiev will play a charity match in Dortmund Single Inga Park Stadium, with tickets processed going to Ukrainian refugees. It is very difficult for me to be concentrating on football, on the match, on the trainings, but I'm a professional. I will get out tomorrow to give every best, Ozzy told journalists. Before Ozzy fled the war, he played for Viras Ravine and loaned for Dynamo Kiev. 2 months ago, he came to Germany and joined Dortmund as a guest player. I'm very grateful to the club, the city. It is a very special moment for me to be able to get onto the pitch tomorrow in a Borussia Dortmund kit, Ozzy said. While now safe in Germany and away from the war, Ozzy says he maintains regular contact with people in Ukraine, many of whom are still going through very difficult situations, including some of the front lines. 2 of my best friends are in the front line. I am really in touch with them, but I am trying to contact them every day to see if they're alive. It is very difficult for me and my families, for my friends, because of them, every day could be last.
Якщо я можу допомогти.
Now let's have a look at the weather and what you can expect for tomorrow. And finally, it's been found and now it will be sold. After decades of searching, one of Dorothy's dresses from the classic film The Wizard of Oz has been located.
The director of popular culture at Bonhams US, Helen Hall, explained it was donated to the Catholic University of America in 1973 by an actress called Mercedes McCambridge. It's remained at the school with Father Hartke, who was head of the drama department there until the 80s when he retired. And then it disappeared, and the university spent many years looking for it. Fast forward to COVID, and a retired professor was going through some boxes in his office, and lo and behold, there was the dress. The auction house said MGM didn't keep records, but they did know that 5 dresses have surfaced since the film was released. 1 was lost in a fire, and now 4 blue and white dresses remain and only 2 with the white blouse. The pre-sale auction estimate is $800,000 to $1.2 million. We sold another version of this dress back in 2015 that made $1.5 million, said Helen Hall. The movie artifact will be part of the company's biannual Classic Hollywood sale in Los Angeles on May 24th. Who was head of the drama department there until the 80s when he retired.
The bodice has a very distinctive pattern in the gingham that we're actually able to match to a scene in the film. So Judy Garland wears this as Dorothy in the scene in the witch's castle, when the witch imprisons her and turns over the timer counting down towards when she's going to kill her. There's some wear on the shoulders to the blouse. The dress itself is in wonderful condition. The colours are still really strong. It's still got that nice blue and white gingham. But at the back, sometime in the 70s, someone snuck into the office of Father Hartkey at the university who had the dress and snipped a little souvenir out of the fabric. So there's a little bit missing at the back. In the back, there's a label with Judy Garland's name on it, with a number which ties it to the production. The hook and eye fastening at the back is very distinctive and exactly the same as the other examples I've seen. And in this side here, there's a little secret pocket where Judy Garland kept her handkerchief. So that scene where she wipes the tears of the cowardly lion, she pulls a handkerchief from her pocket and wipes the tears. So that's a little secret pocket. Yeah, no, that's just for display purposes. The Catholic University of America who own the dress, and as Mercedes McCambridge originally intended with her donation to the school, they are selling it and using the proceeds to create a new film acting program at the Catholic University in Washington.
I didn't even know what you meant by that. I mean, like, something like protective ethics.
Thank you for watching the Daily Roundup here on the EAC News Channel. For more breaking news and updates, check our website, eacnews.asia, or search EAC News on Telegram, Smart TV, or your favourite app store. More from the EAC News team tomorrow night at 8 p.m. We'll see you then.